Hello dear students, in this video I am going to discuss some multiple choice questions on the second PUC topic, molecular basis of inheritance. So let us go for the questions. Nucleotide arrangement in DNA can be seen by, this is the question, and the options are X-ray crystallography, electron microscope, ultracentrifuge, light microscope. So these are the given options. The nucleotide arrangement in DNA. What is nucleotide? It is a molecule containing pentose sugar, nitrogen base and phosphate group, and these are the monomeric units to form the polynucleotide chain, whether it is DNA or RNA. And here the right answer for this question is X-ray crystallography. With the technique of X-ray crystallography, the nucleotide arrangement in the DNA can be seen, because the X-ray crystallography is used to determine 3D structure of macromolecules such as the DNA, RNA and proteins. The basic principle of this technique is that the wavelength of X-ray depends on distance between the atoms in the structure, which makes it useful for determining their arrangement. What is the arrangement of atoms in the 3D structure of a macromolecule can be easily identified with the help of X-ray crystallography, and using this method only, Watson and Crick explained the double helical structure of DNA molecule. X-ray diffraction method, it is particularly used by Watson and Crick to explain the double helical model of DNA. Next one. The question is, histones are rich in. What are these histones? These are positively charged protein molecules which are involved in the formation of nucleosome when the DNA wraps around the octamer, histone octamer. The DNA is having negative charge due to the presence of a phosphate group. The DNA molecule shows negative charge. Histone molecules are having positive charge, and these histone proteins are rich in two specific amino acids. They are lysine and arginine. So arginine and lysine are positively charged amino acids and mostly exposed to the protein surface, and they play important role in protein stability because they produce electrostatic interactions. So lysine and arginine are the histones. The lysine and arginine are the amino acids which are richly present in the histone. Then moving to the next question. Scientists involved in discovery of DNA as chemical basis of heredity. The question is very direct question. Here I would like to remind the two experiments. One is transforming principle experiment conducted by Griffith, and Griffith explains that DNA is the responsible molecule for the transformation of R strain of Streptococcus into S strain. But when R strain Streptococcus is converted into S strain, some questions remained unanswered, because when S strain bacterial strain is heat killed, not only DNA is coming out, along with that the RNA molecule, protein and other molecules are also coming out of the bacteria. Then which one is the accurate molecule responsible for the conversion of R strain into S strain. The same experiment is continued by three biologists, Oswald Avery, MacLeod and McCarthy, and finally they confirmed the DNA is the responsible molecule for the transformation of R strain into S strain. They called the experiment biochemical analysis of transforming principle. So here DNA as a chemical basis of heredity. This is finally proved by three biologists, Oswald Avery, MacLeod and McCarthy. So the right option for this one is option C. Moving to the next question. In some viruses, RNA is present instead of DNA, indicating that. What is the meaning of this question? In the entire living world, when we talk about the organisms, there are only two options for the genetic material, and both of them are the nucleic acids. Maximum organisms contain DNA as their genetic material, but the viruses contain RNA as genetic material. For example, HIV, it is the virus with RNA as its genetic material, and any virus with RNA as genetic material is called retrovirus. What is the meaning of this statement? In some viruses, RNA is present instead of DNA, indicating that viruses, even in the absence of DNA, they can transfer the heredity. That means in viruses, the RNA acts as genetic material and it transfer the hereditary information. Means both DNA and RNA can act as the genetic material, but when DNA is present, the DNA functions as genetic material and RNA is carrying out protein synthesis. But in the absence of DNA, when only RNA is present, even it can function as genetic material and it is able to transfer the hereditary information. So moving to the next question. Which of the following statements about RNA polymerase are correct? Here, the different RNA polymerase enzymes are given as option with respect to their catalytic activities. RNA polymerase 1 transcribes rRNAs. Whether this is right or wrong, it is right option. RNA polymerase 2 transcribes snRNAs. Then RNA polymerase 3 transcribes hnRNA. RNA polymerase 2 transcribes hnRNAs. So, which statements are correct here? Before going to the answer, let us recall what are the functions carried out by these enzymes. RNA polymerase enzyme is nothing but transcriptase. It is catalyzing the process transcription, in which the different RNA molecules are, non-genetic RNA molecules are synthesized from the DNA. In prokaryotic organism, only one RNA polymerase catalyzes the transcription of all the non-genetic RNAs, that is rRNA, mRNA and tRNA, and in prokaryotes, the produced mRNA contains only the coding regions, the introns are absent, so that directly it will be functional, not necessary to undergo the splicing. Whereas in case of eukaryotes, the genes are split genes. They contain both coding and non-coding regions, so that in eukaryotes, RNA polymerase enzyme has labor of division. That means one kind of RNA polymerase catalyzes the transcription of only one type of RNA molecule. RNA polymerase 1 transcribes the synthesis of rRNA, it is correct, and RNA polymerase 2 transcribes heteronuclear RNA. mRNA in case of eukaryotes is hnmRNA, that is heteronuclear mRNA, because the transcription is taking place inside the nucleus. Cells are eukaryotic and here mRNA contains both introns and exons. Therefore, the right option for this one is fourth one. RNA polymerase 2 transcribes hnRNA. Then what about RNA polymerase 3? It transcribes tRNA. So here the right option for the given question is fourth one, option D. 1 and 4th statements are right statements with respect to the RNA polymerase. Then move to the next question. It is match the following here. Alec Jeffreys' known name for the discovery of unique process DNA fingerprinting. Then Sanger automated DNA sequence. So I am not getting the marker here. Yes, automated DNA sequence. Jacob and Monod going for lac operon. Even they discovered the molecular structure of mRNA. McLeod, Avery, McCarty. The option given is right here and it is the fourth one, transforming principle. So which one is the right option? A, it is 3, B 2, C 1 and D 4th. So here option B is the right answer. In tertiary structure of DNA, what is a histone octamer? Histone octamer is involved in packaging of DNA, where the negatively charged DNA molecule wraps around the positively charged nucleosome, which is made up of 8 molecules of histone proteins. They are 2 molecules of H2A, 2 molecules of H2B, 2 molecules of H3 and 2 molecules of H4. There are totally 5 types of histone proteins, but among them only 4 are participating in the formation of nucleosome, and remaining one, H1, it is acting as a linker protein between 2 nucleosomes. So here histone octamer complex refers to a complex consisting of 8 positively charged histone proteins, 2 of each H2A, H2B, H3, H4, that aid in the packaging of DNA. This histone octamer is helping in the packaging of DNA molecule. So the right answer for this one is option A. During the elongation of polypeptide chain, sigma factor is, the given question is elongation of polypeptide chain. Then what is this polypeptide chain? Polypeptide chain is nothing but it is a long chain of amino acids interconnected by peptide bonds, and polypeptide chain is nothing but a protein molecule. Elongation of polypeptide chain is one of the steps in protein synthesis. Activation and selection of amino acids, initiation of polypeptide chain, elongation of polypeptide chain, and termination of polypeptide chain. These are the steps with respect to the study of protein synthesis, also called translation. Here, the question is asked with respect to sigma factor, where this sigma factor is essential. See, the sigma factor is required to initiate transcription at promoter site. The transcription unit is having promoter region or promoter site and terminator site. When sigma factor binds to the promoter site along with DNA dependent RNA polymerase, the transcription process is initiated. But here the question is given with respect to the elongation of polypeptide chain, that is protein synthesis. So that for protein synthesis or during elongation of polypeptide chain, the sigma factor becomes functionless. It is not at all required for the translation process, it is required for transcription. So the right answer is option A. RNA polymerases used for transcription of genes require a template, dash template. RNA polymerase, another name of this one is transcriptase. Which template is required? The term is RNA polymerase. It is an enzyme. So when we say the term RNA polymerase, it is understood it is a DNA dependent RNA polymerase. That means normal process of transcription is taking place. It is not reverse transcription. When the process is normal transcription, the DNA dependent RNA polymerase are involved in the process and they require DNA as template. If suppose the question, instead of RNA polymerase, if the question is DNA polymerase used for reverse transcription requires RNA as a template, because RNA dependent DNA polymerase is nothing but reverse transcriptase, where the DNA molecule is synthesized from the genetic material RNA. But here given question is with respect to normal transcription process and the enzyme is RNA polymerase, which is dependent on DNA and it requires DNA as template. Next question. DNA fingerprinting using variable number tandem repeats is based on the observation that, what is VNTR? Variable number tandem repeats. Some nucleotides are repeatedly arranged in the DNA molecule. It is specific for a person and varying from one individual to another individual, with the exception of monozygotic twins. And this is used as a basic principle to compare the DNA fingerprinting of two individuals. Especially this is widely used in the detection of criminals in the forensic science, and here the observation is based on VNTR loci are highly polymorph because they are varying from one individual to another individual. So the answer for this one is VNTR loci are highly polymorph. Yes, again somewhat same question. Each individual has a unique DNA fingerprint as individuals differ in except for monozygotic twins. Again I am repeating, number of mini satellite on chromosome are varying from one person to another person. Location of mini satellite on chromosome will also be varying. Size of the mini satellite on chromosome also varies, so that all of the above is answer for this question. The DNA fingerprint is unique as the individuals show difference in the number of mini satellite, difference in the location of mini satellite, and size of mini satellite. So right answer is option D. And moving to next question. So these are some questions selected from previous question papers. One turn of the helix in a B form DNA is approximately, here the measurement is given, dimension is given in nanometer. What is the B DNA? It is the Watson and Crick model of DNA, which shows right-handed coiling, and the number of bases in each turn of the DNA are 10. The diameter of the DNA molecule is 20 angstrom unit, but here it is given in terms of nanometer. So one turn of the bDNA in the helix, it is having approximately 2 nanometer, because 1 angstrom is equal to 10 to the power of minus 10 meter, and if you calculate this one, 20 into 10 to the power of 10, it becomes 2 into 10 to the power of minus 9 meter, and answer is 2 nanometer. If an isolated strain of DNA is kept at 82 to 90 degree Celsius, then this you can easily answer, because it uncoils the helix. In PCR, the double-stranded DNA, to break the hydrogen bonds during denaturation process, what is carried out? Temperature is increased up to 95 degree. That means hydrogen bonds can be broken with high temperature, and it results in uncoiling of double helix. The next question. In a 3.2 kilo base pair long piece of DNA, 820 adenine bases were found. What would be the number of cytosine bases? The given point is here, a DNA piece is there, its length is 3.2 kilo base pairs. So 1 kilo base pair is equal to 1000 base pair. How much kilo base pairs are given in the question? 3.2. So 3.2 into 100, it becomes 32,000 base pair. Among them, adenine is given, it is 820. Where adenine is present, due to complementary base pairing, it pairs with thymine. So thymine number also becomes 820. So 820, 820, adenine and thymine together, the number becomes 1640. What is the total number of base pairs? It is 32,000. If you minus 1640 from this one, the number of base pairs left will be 1560. But this 1560 shows the combined bases, guanine and cytosine, divided by 2, you will get the answer 780. The guanine number is also 780, cytosine number is also 780, because the guanine and cytosine are showing complementary base pairing. So the right answer for this one is 780. Whatever the number of kilo base pairs will be given, here it is 3.2, it may be 7, it may be 8.2, like that. Take that number and multiply with the 1000. One nitrogen base value will be definitely given. If instead of adenine, if it is 900 for cytosine, If cytosine is 900, then guanine is also 900. Combined, add that value and deduct that value from the total number of base pairs obtained after multiplying with the 1000. So one value will be obtained, divide it by 2 and you will get the percentage of any other nitrogen base. Then coming to the next one. Here it is also again like that. If there are 120 adenine molecules in a bDNA, again it is bDNA, double helical structure showing 20 coils. It is undergoing 20 coils. What is the number of pyrimidine nucleotides forming 3 hydrogen bonds in it? What is the number of pyrimidine nucleotides? bDNA, that is Watson and Crick model of DNA. In one turn of the helix, how many base pairs it is having? 10 base pairs. How many turns or the coils is shown by DNA in the given question? The DNA is showing 20 coils. In each coil, how many base pairs are present? 10 base pairs. Therefore, let us multiply 20 into 10. It becomes 200 base pair. Because each coil, that means each turn, after every turn, in each turn 10 base pairs are present. The number of turnings or the coils shown by the DNA is 20. Therefore, the number of base pairs becomes 200. Adenine number is given here. Adenine is always pairing with thymine. So, this pair becomes with double bond 120. It is given. Let us deduct this one. The total number of base pairs, it is, I am not talking about the single base, it is base pair, 200. In that both adenine and thymine together represent 120. So that becomes 80. After deducting this number, the remaining base pairs are 80. Remaining base pairs are nothing but guanine pairing with the cytosine with 3 hydrogen bonds, and the right answer is 80. Adenine always pairs with thymine. Here we are talking about a base pair. Among the 200 base pairs in 20 coils, adenine and thymine pair is showing 120 number. Total number of the base pairs is 200. Minus this number into 200, you will get the answer for the pyrimidine nucleotides. So in the different question, only number will be changed. The method will remain same for the determination. Yes. Which of the following is not correct? Here the question is given with respect to Chergaff's rule. A by T is equal to 1, that is purine and pyrimidine ratio. It remains 1 for all the species. A plus T divided by G plus C. A plus G is equal to C plus T. Total purine content is always is equal to total pyrimidine content, because adenine and guanine are the purine molecules, nitrogen bases. Cytosine and thymine are the pyrimidine nitrogen bases. So here the wrong option given for Chergaff's rule is, which one of the following is not correct? A plus T is equal to G plus C. This is not the right option. Here, according to Chergaff's rule, the total amount of purine is equal to total amount of pyrimidine. That can be also shown as A plus G is equal to C plus T, or A plus G divided by T plus C, that is purine divided by pyrimidine. Its value is 1 for all the species. and A plus T divided by G plus C ratio. The base ratio, here it is, the base ratio A plus T divided by G plus C is K, where K is constant. It is for a particular species and it will be varying from one species to another species. The adenine pairs with thymine with 2 hydrogen bonds and guanine pairs with cytosine with 3 hydrogen bonds. Here adenine and guanine are the purine molecules, thymine and cytosine are the pyrimidine molecules. Which one of the following peak absorption of ultraviolet light by heterocyclic bases, that is nitrogen bases? The answer is 260 nanometer. As the nitrogen bases are heterocyclic compounds, they absorb the ultraviolet light of 260 nanometer. Then cDNA can be formed by, what is cDNA? Later I will go. Transaminase, DNA ligase, RNA dependent DNA polymerase, that is reverse transcriptase, DNA dependent RNA polymerase. So what is cDNA? It is the DNA synthesized using RNA template, not the DNA template, and it is called complementary DNA. That small c here, this small c, it stands for the complementary DNA. C for complementary. To which molecule it is complementary? The nitrogen bases are complementary to the RNA template. Using the RNA molecule, the DNA molecule is synthesized and the enzyme involved in this one is reverse transcriptase. And what is this reverse transcriptase? It is the RNA dependent DNA molecule opposite to the transcriptase enzyme, which is DNA dependent RNA polymerase, but here the process is reverse transcription, and the answer, right option for this one is option C, RNA dependent DNA polymerase, which is called reverse transcriptase. Next question. If a length of DNA has 45,000 base pairs, how many complete turns will the DNA molecule take? The question, in the question, 45,000 base pairs is mentioned, that is A double bond T and G double bond C. Where you see these base pairs, they are present in one turn of the helix, and each turn of the helix contain 10 base pairs. What is the number of base pairs given in that one? 45,000. What you need to calculate, what you need to identify, what is the number of turns? In each turn, the DNA molecule contains 10 base pairs. The number of given base pairs is 45,000. Very simple, divide it by 10. The number of complete turns becomes 4,500. So this is the answer. Then coming to next one. Yes. Again, it is related to Chargaff's rule. In DNA of certain organisms, guanine constitutes 20% of the bases. What percentage of the bases would be adenine? Here the percentage of guanine is given. Adenine percentage is asked to calculate, identify. Guanine pairs with cytosine. According to complementary base pairing, the guanine always pairs with cytosine according to complementary base pairing. When guanine is 20%, cytosine is also 20%. In the DNA molecule, A plus G plus C plus T is equal to 100%. Let us take these two. They are representing 40% because guanine is 20%. It is always pairing with cytosine. 20 plus 20, it is 40%. Deduct that value, 100 minus 40, it is 60%. But 60% is representing for A plus T. Both of them are together 60%. Then each represents half. What is the adenine percentage? Therefore, the adenine percentage becomes 30. This is the answer. Purines possesses nitrogen at 1, 2, 4 and 6 position, 1, 3, 5 and 7 position, 1, 3, 7 and 9 position, 1, 2, 6 and 8 position. What is this purine? Purine is heterocyclic nitrogen base. It is aromatic organic compound containing nitrogen. That is why nitrogenous base at 1, 3, 7 and 9. Odd number 1. Here it is 3, then 7 and 9. These carbon atoms in the ring, they contain nitrogen. So the right answer for this one is option 3, 1, 3, 7 and 9. Double ringed nitrogen base, so 4 nitrogen atoms are present. Which of the following group of codons code for the amino acid serine? The answer is serine. It is option C. UCU, UCC, UCA and UCG. All are uracil containing codons. If you see the chart of genetic code, you will get the information about all the amino acids which are coded by specific codons. Which of the following is not required for any of the techniques of DNA fingerprinting available at present? DNA fingerprinting, where the VNTR is compared as a method of identification. It requires PCR because PCR is the only technique for amplification of the DNA. That means to increase the copies of DNA, and DNA fingerprinting requires 1 microgram of DNA. The quantity of the DNA required for the preparation of DNA fingerprinting of a person is 1 microgram. If that isolated DNA from the sample is less than 1 microgram, in that case the quantity of the DNA is amplified with the help of PCR. And to get the RFLP, restriction fragment length polymorphs, REN is required to cut the DNA. Then if the DNA is fragmented, then only the VNTR arrangement can be analyzed. DNA hybridization, because the sample DNA molecule is converted to single stranded DNA by exposing to the alkaline medium. By breaking the hydrogen bonds, the double stranded sample DNA is converted into single stranded DNA, and that single stranded DNA is transformed to nitrocellulose sheet, which is called southern blotting. After southern blotting, to identify the VNTR of sample DNA, the sample DNA, single stranded sample DNA is hybridized with the probe DNA, and probe DNA is single stranded artificially synthesized DNA molecule containing radioactive nitrogen. So here all these are the right statements. It is required, it is also required, it is also required. So which one is the answer? The zinc finger analysis. It is not required for DNA fingerprinting. Then match the following. VNTR, variable number tandem repeats, where it is used. It is used for DNA fingerprinting. Introns and exons. For mRNA, non-coding introns are removed through the process called splicing. The involved proteins are called spliceosomes. Then dystrophin. Dystrophin is the largest gene so far known. It is in the Human Genome Project. And satellite DNA, it is bulk DNA. So this is match the following, and question is from 2015 KCET paper. Satellite DNA is useful tool in. Satellite DNA is useful tool in forensic science to identify the criminal's cause of the death. The forensic science use the satellite DNA. Next, which of the following is a sulfur containing amino acid? The answer is methionine. Apart from methionine, the cysteine is also having sulfur in its structure. So this is the last question for molecular basis of inheritance. I hope it is clear.